Hello and welcome. Welcome to my home and welcome to my sacred space that I prepared for us today. I'm Olivia and this is Tarot and Coffee with Olivia, here to do your daily pick a card. I want you guys to know how much I really appreciate you. It just means a lot to me, each and every one of you that are here. Whether you're here intermittently or whether you come every day, I just thank you. That's what I have to say. So I'm shuffling for show or for fun, for the sound of it. I don't know if you come to listen to the sound of the shuffling, and that is why I'm doing this, because I've already drawn the cards today. I've even already drawn our thought of the day from our Kim Krans Wild Unknown Archetype deck, and I am going to show it to you now. It is the Self. Did I introduce myself? I don't even know. I'm Olivia, and this is Tarot and Coffee with Olivia. Okay, it's easy to do a pick a card, and right now we're just looking at the card of the day. I am going to read to you out of the Kim Krans Wild Unknown Archetypes book about the Self. And I will say now is a good time for you to kind of look over those rocks. You might even be able to pick your rock today. I just used found brown rocks, okay? So we're looking for page 119. I will show them to you up close, and I do have timestamps listed below, so you don't have to wade through anything you don't want to wade through. You can just skip ahead to your card of the day if that's how you like to do this. Okay, the Self. The Self is the prism that allows the spectrum of our personalities to radiate. It doesn't judge, prohibit, suppress, or oppress any of its parts, as it lovingly knows that all aspects have a time and a place, and leads us to experience the full breadth of life's offerings. The Self is the central abiding container, the awareness of the infinite universe of possibilities. When this card appears, it's a call to step back into witness consciousness, to observe yourself navigating the world. Ask yourself, am I the stew or am I the chef? In most situations, our egos draws us into the cauldron where we swirl, spin, and smolder in chaos. Yet, the Self is a graceful culinary dancer, watching, waiting, observing, as the spectrum of ingredients become the flavor of our life. Look into the mirror for 30 seconds or more and attempt to see the you behind you. Odd? Yes. Interesting? Yes. Is there an assignment? Yes. If you want to do that assignment, I'm going to do it today. Look in the mirror for more than... Actually, well, I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. I could pontificate forever, but let's go ahead and look at these rocks up close. We have this one I'm going to call the Brown Skipper Rock, because it's one that I feel like I could skip easily if I were willing to let go of it. And then we have the Volcanic Rock. And it was found just in... It must have like hooked up under a tire or something. I found it in the driveway. And here is another rock I've just found in the street, actually. And it's just, I don't know what attracts me to rocks. I think it's because I'm an air sign and I need to put rocks in my pockets to keep from floating away. Okay. This rock, I love it because look at the painting. I found it this way with these paintings that have worn off. There's no telling, how long ago this rock was painted or what it was painted with. I'm sure if I sent it to a lab, I could, which I'm not going to do. I just find it very interesting and I love it. That's all. That's all. All right. So go ahead and take your time and look over those rocks and cards so that you can pick your card of the day while I have a sip of cuppa. I so wish that I could just serve each of you a nice hot cup of tea or some coffee, maybe some scones or some cookies. Anyway, here we are. We're on video. I'm not doing that. In fact, If you need more time, go ahead and pause your video at this time, and you can take all the time you need to pick your card. Otherwise, I'm going to lift up the Skipper rock, and we're going to see that you have the Hermit. And the Hermit really goes well with the Self today, doesn't it? So most of the time when we see the Hermit, I don't know how often you've been here, but we talk about isolation, we talk about loneliness, but we're here to talk about something else today. The Hermit, especially coupled with Self, is not about being alone. It is about who the Hermit lives with. So the Hermit lives with himself, obviously. But the Hermit also has another companion, constant companion. And oftentimes, the Hermit is the Hermit in order to keep that companion very close in their lives. And that companion is God. Living a life in the experience of God in His presence. An individual path to and with God. This card asks you to throw off unimportant ballast and concentrate on the essentials, which is, who is God. So we can experience God in many, many, many ways. And we can also experience God within the self. We are all children of God, and we need to treat ourselves thusly so. So I'm lucky enough to be kind of a friend to the world, and I have been lucky enough to have been able to get to know at least a little bit folks that are hermits, like true hermits, which is very unusual because a hermit is a hermit. And I do. And I think that they know that they walk with God on a daily basis. So it's about a personal, individual relationship with God as you perceive God. And we're just going to leave that there. I'm not going to give you an assignment or anything like that. I just want you to take that in. Let's look under the volcanic rock and see who we have there. And we have you, the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, I believe, is Greek. And it translates, actually, to high priest. When we think of the Hierophant as the high priest. But also, he who proclaims what is sacred. So this is about you proclaiming sacredness. And, you, the self, what is sacred to you? And seeing this card today is asking you to share that with someone else. Oftentimes we keep our spiritual side and our spiritual selves to ourselves. Well, this card is asking us to share those beliefs with others today. So I kind of want to speak to the atheists and agnostics at this time as well, because I want to let you know that oftentimes you have a spiritual life and a spiritual experience, but you see it differently. And I don't know. Okay, let me make this plain. A lot of the atheists and agnostics that I have met are on their path, on their spiritual path, doing rather than talking about it, rather than philosophizing about what it is. I see you guys out there volunteering. I see you guys out there helping. I see you guys out there living your spiritual life. Even though sometimes I hear you saying, I don't even believe in spirit. Anyway, that's that. Let's move along. Let's see what we have under this rock right here. Parking lot rock. We'll call that parking lot rock. The Knight of Wands. Very interesting. Okay. The Knight of Wands is a doer, okay? The Knight of Wands takes full responsibility and accountability. And that brings the Nine of Wands happiness and love. Be the first to apologize. Even if you're not the only one that was wrong, maybe you weren't even wrong, but there is something when you see someone that you love and you had a part in making them unhappy, you can at least apologize for that. And that sometimes helps us who are in the wrong to open up and apologize like we should have in the first place. Okay, I didn't mean to say all that. I really had some notes here I wanted to follow. So your light is needed where the darkness is deepest. So let's think of the wand today as a flashlight, shining light into the dark. In doing so, that will develop your powers. And what are we talking about? We're talking about something that we like to call, in metaphysical world, shadow work. But I also think of it as going to a therapist, a licensed therapist, and doing work on your shadow selves. And your shadow selves is really your subconscious, your collective unconscious, your way through the world. And that's what I think about that. Now let's look under the sacred rock. We'll call this the sacred rock. I'm naming them so that we can do the timestamps. Okay, so you have the Eight of Cups. Now, this may not be a high card like the other ones that we've drawn today, but it really does have a lot of meaning. Now, in talking about the self and in talking about that is kind of represented up here with the moon and the sun, with the conscious self and the subconscious self, both represented. And we have the blue of the sky, and the flow of the water has some very definite meaning here. And we're talking about feelings, emotions, and spirituality. This one, I'm going to go ahead and read my notes. For success and happiness, go with the flow, your own flow. Find it in your quiet, still space. Going with the flow is easy, but it also gets you on the right and true path towards your calling and your destiny. So the way I think about this card is I think about learning to swim. It took me years and years to learn to swim. It was a long, arduous process because I was fearful of the water, and because, I don't know, I just learned because I was self-taught. I learned to dog paddle first, you know. One of the things I did learn from a class that I took in swimming was about floating, and I learned how to float. And hopefully you have had this experience. When you're in the water and you're learning how to swim, suddenly you might find yourself in the deep end and worn out or having a cramp, you're tired, and you become fearful because you are too exhausted to swim, or too tired, or too crampy, or whatever's going on, and you're in the deep end. So what do? You float. You completely relax. You relax your entire body, and you float. And some float better than others. The more you relax, the better, but also some of us have much more buoyancy than others. And that makes it easier for us. But relaxing your body and floating will not only help you to rest from the exhaustion, but you will also find your current and move along your path without even trying. And that's what I have for you guys today. Couple it with the self. That's such a beautiful card. I know it's weird. If I had an assignment for you today in the self card, if you didn't want to look in the mirror, make some soup. Man, make some homemade soup. There is a huge difference between just getting a little bit of celery, a little bit of onion, anything else you want to put in that soup, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, whether you like meat, put it all together, stir it up in the pot with some olive oil, put some salt and pepper on it, let it get all, what do you call it in the pot? You know, and then add some water to it, let it boil, and man, you're going to have something way better than anything you'd ever get out of a can. No matter what ingredients you use, as long as they're edible and things that you like. Right? All right. And so here we are at the end. I hate this part. I hate the end. Okay. I'll stop. I know. I'm getting overexcited here. Let me take a deep breath. Okay. Do take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Don't make life-altering decisions or changes based on this or any other tarot. Pick a card, but do connect with me on my social medias. Connect with me. I've got everything linked below in the description of this video. Contact me on Keen. Make an appointment. Click that direct link to my Keen, or you can come book with me on my website. And last but not least, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, give the card a thumbs up, give the card a thumbs down. Whatever it is, whether you like it or dislike it, do it. Give me a comment. And last but not least, I already said that, subscribe. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here.